So your needs are different from wants. I want to separate that clearly. Needs are different from wants. Wants are the things you can do without them. They are more or less a luxury. They are not mandatory for you to do them. I would say one of the things that is a want in my own family is paying for DSTV. It's a want for me. Because when I come back from work, I have no time to watch it. I cannot pay a very high package and I don't watch. Maybe in a month, I watch only like twice and I have paid 100 and something thousand. Am I wise? Am I a good steward of my resources? You see, those are very key questions to you. And you have to begin to know. So, I will again do a video that will discuss in detail wants and needs, but also how to minimize cost of operation in your own house. How do you minimize cost? How do you fit in? Okay? There is going to be a video that will be done in that direction so that you understand in details. Yeah. Because some of you don't need a DSTV, some of you don't need a flat screen, some of you don't need certain things, some of you have 20 shoes. Do you need all the shoes? Okay, so we will talk about that one. That's a different subject. But today, my focus is on the budgeting. So we have talked about the needs, which are mandatory. And you have listed them, and you have costed them, and you have put them in your budget. This is to allow you to be flexible. Budget is not static. Budget is flexible. It's according to the income and how your income flows in. So I want to move straight to the other category. The other category, which is now the savings and investment, and then debt repayment. I was saying when I talked about debt repayment, some of us are shocked. I want to say majority of us have debts to repay. Many of us have debts to repay. So if you have debts to repay, you must understand how you are going to pay, because the owners of the resources that you have or where you have borrowed from will need them. And it can be a serious thing, it can disorganize you. Majority of us begin to run away instead of paying our debt. But you need to. So how do we pay it? We must pay it in our budget, because you have to be intentional in paying it back. The reason you cannot pay is because you don't plan for it, and yet you receive money. So how do you pay? You pay them. Let's say you have 10 people or you have 2 people whom you have borrowed from. You have to ensure you factor them in your income, in your budget. But the quick one I will tell you is first to start by paying the one who has less. If one has, you're supposed to repay 100,000 and another one you're supposed to repay maybe 1 million. You don't start by paying the one for 1 million. You have to start with the one for 100,000 and pay them off. Why? Because you don't want 2 people to be chasing after you. So release yourself from one. So what it means, within your budget, you factor in now your debt repayment. You don't need to pay it at once, because once you start to pay, even the owners of the resources, the owners of the money will know that you are committed to paying it back. Okay? So, you have the one that is for 100, you have one for 1 million. Your target is to pay 1,100,000. So what do? You take the one for 100, but in your budget you can only afford maybe 25,000 for debt repayment. because you have a lot of things. Remember, you have taken 50% already. You are paying your mandatory bills and expenses. But now you are in investment, savings, and debt repayment. So you remove your 25,000 and put it towards debt repayment. So how long will it take you to pay back the person for 100? If you are a monthly earner, it will take you about 4 months. And you pay that 100,000, and that is that. I'm not just talking about big figures. I know you have capacity. I'm just giving you an example. That one for 1 million, you begin also to apportion some money towards it. After you have offset the person for 100, you begin to apportion some money to pay off the person for 1 million, and you pay them off. I don't want to focus on debt repayment, but it will help you if you budget for it, because if you earn maybe 1.3 and then you choose to take 1 million and repay your debt, that means that month you will not pay power, you will not pay rent. That means you have created another problem between you and your landlord or landlady. And then that means in your house people cannot eat, maybe school fees you cannot pay, or transport you cannot manage, because you did not budget for the resources. You see how debt repayment becomes important? I will talk about it in details. Just follow me. Now, there are many ways that we enter into debts. One of it is, some of us, we are into what we call in a jolly. They call it kalulu. Okay? And I want really to get the English word for that. That will help me. But it is a rotational kind of earning. And that rotational earning means if this month we are 6 people, this month we are all paying money to you. Okay? We pay money to Mr. X. So all the other 5 people will gather their resources according to how much you have agreed. You pay to Mr. X. The following month, you pay again to Mr. Y. Another month, you pay to Mr. Z. Something like that. I want to assure you that that already is called debt repayment. That's debt repayment. Because the one who has received money first must repay for all the other people. That means you have borrowed in advance, because at the first setting, you received the money from the people. So now, the other 5 months ahead of you, you have to keep paying the other people. So that is debt repayment. Now, the challenge often comes when you don't have a functional budget, because this repayment becomes painful for you. When it is time you need to remove money and now pay Mr. Y, you are now feeling the pain because you don't have it intentionally factored in your budget. So before you even choose to go to such kind of savings, to such kind of financial practices, you must know that your budget is allowing that kind of practice to function. Okay? So how do we borrow, and at what time should we borrow? That is to do with loans. You can still follow me. And that is another thing that we talk about. When can you borrow, and why should you borrow, and what group can you join? Okay? So that is debt repayment. Don't run away from paying what you have consumed. You must pay back if you have borrowed. As we talk about that, I said this part of the budget takes 30%. And this 30%, it includes what we call savings. The question is, do you save? Do you have a savings account? Or do you save in your own house? Or is there any way you have been saving? Saving is a practice that you must learn. Okay? Don't consume all your income. You must save part of your income, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring for you. Tomorrow comes with its own issues. So you must save. You must intentionally take care of your tomorrow. So savings are in many categories. You can choose any bank, you can choose any financial institution where you can save. Any micro bank, you can save from them. But you must learn how to save. So now we are saying saving has nothing to do with how much you earn. It has to do with the culture. And you must learn it. So if you begin to practice to save, you will begin to gather resources. Specifically for unpredicted future. So banks will tell you what different accounts they have. They will show you. So you can choose those specific ones that you would love to save. Okay? I said I will talk about school fees later, but this is what part of the practices you have to do. Save for school fees, save for any other form of thing, save for your future, save for your old age. I will talk about old age in details. This one video cannot capture all these things. But are you intentionally saving for your old age? Okay, because we have again seen majority of our retired people from work seems to be doing bad financially because of poor saving culture. Do you also want to fall in the same category? Of after retirement, you keep wishing or you keep talking about what you people did, how you used to, and then now you are unable to afford life. Remember, you are not growing young from the day you came out of your mother's womb. You are now counting more ages. So you are growing older and age will catch up with you. Even if right now you seem to be youthful, you seem to be young, age will catch up with you. So you must learn how to save. You must choose where to save. You have to agree. Now, that is saving. You want to learn more about saving? Catch up to our link. Investment. So there could be savings that are intended for investment. Part of your budget must look into investment. So without these things included in your budget, then your budget is just a list of bills. That's why I say the budget is not a list of bills. So your budget must have a section or a unit of what we call investment. And sometimes your investment might be one that requires hard or huge capital right now and you can't manage it. So you save intentionally towards investment. That means what you want to invest in. So you can tell how long it will take you to save, maybe to start a 5 million business. You can tell this in relation to what your income is now. If you earn 1 million shillings now, how much is going into your savings and investment? So if you want a business of 5 million, that means you have to divide that 5 million by what you apportion every month as for your investment. Let's say you put 50,000 for a 5 million business. How long does it take you? When you divide that, you will get exactly the number of months. And so when you get the number of months and you begin to save intentionally in that direction, in exactly 5, or let's say it has given you 3 years, in exactly 3 years, you have your 5 million to start that business. Because you have been also intentionally saving in that direction. You don't have ability to wake up and get the money from anywhere. So you must save intentionally for investment. Okay? If you are like people who are into what we call white collar job, or you are in a active employment. Active employment means you have no time to do your business. Then you must go into what we call passive investment. Passive investment means it does not need your presence to manage the business. You don't have to be there. And in this process, you can still be earning in your absence. So there are many. There are treasury bills that we talk about. There are fixed deposit accounts that we talk about. There are business unions you can join where you are in a group that you don't have to be the one to sell the items or to offer the service, but your contribution is financed. You can join. We talk about shares. That's a whole unit we can discuss later. Buying shares from companies. There's MTN now, there's Airtel now, there's there are very many. There are banks also that are offering shares. Okay, there's KCB that is giving out shares. There are many. Talk about them. There are many companies that are trading in shares. You can take into that. But of that, if you're doing for old age, that investment for old age, you have tree planting. It is very passive. You don't need to manage it every minute. You don't need to be there. There are very many. There are businesses that we can talk about. So there's passive investment that we will also talk about, and that if you continue to follow us, you will also find such kind of discussions when it comes to investment in that direction. So the budget must have this captured in 30%. Your savings, your investments, and then your debt repayment must capture 30% of your budget.